Hi, the Smoking Elk here, and today I'm going to recreate my favourite meal from the Indian restaurant. I'm doing a chicken Tikka Madras, but I'm cooking it over fire on my braai from the Braaiman. So today I'm going to recreate a chicken Tikka Madras. Now, chicken Tikka Madras means you obviously have to do the chicken tikka, and that's what I'm going to start with. And the braai is perfect for that because it's got this skewer attachment on there, so we can load a load of chicken, marinated chicken, onto the skewers and just cook them nice and gently over the fire to get a lovely bit of char, get a lovely bit of colour on there before putting them into the final curry sauce. So I've got my chicken here, so I'm using chicken breast. I like to use chicken breast for chicken tikka. Now this, I've cut into around about 1-inch chunks. It's going to be bite-sized chunks, and obviously we want to marinate this before threading it onto the skewers. So for the marinade, it's going to be nice and simple. I'm going to start with there's about 700 grams of diced chicken there, so I'm going to start with about 200 to 250 grams of Greek yogurt. That's going to be the base for our marinade. And then we're going to go in with our spices. So we want about a teaspoon of cumin, chili powder, around about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of chili powder. This is Kashmiri, so it's not too spicy. We want some coriander. You want a teaspoon of this stuff. Turmeric, half a teaspoon. And then the last two spices, you want just a pinch of cinnamon. So let's not overdo it with the cinnamon. And we're gonna go in with about a teaspoon of paprika. And then all we wanna do is about an inch to an inch and a half piece of ginger. I'm gonna grate. Going to go in with 3 garlic cloves and the juice of a lemon, and then we're going to mix this all up and get it all over the chicken. So let's crack on and get the chicken marinated and get it onto the skewers. That's my chicken loaded onto the skewers. It smells great already. So, like I said, I'm gonna be cooking this over the fire on the braai. Now with the skewer attachment, with the way the braai works, you see that I've got a fire on the go on the ember maker in the middle of the braai. As that fire burns, coals drop down, I then scrape those coals over to the left or to the right, depending on the amount of heat that I want. So I'm gonna keep scraping these coals under the chicken tikka as it cooks. Want that lovely char on there, want that beautiful colour on there. So let's get over there, let's get the skewers on, and then we'll come back and I'll talk you through the rest of the curry. So the chicken tikka is cooking nicely. Remember, we don't want it cooked all the way through because it's going to finish in the sauce that we're just about to make, but we do want the colour on there, we want the char on there, which is what we're achieving beautifully with those embers underneath. So, got a pan on the go here to build the rest of the dish. We've got some heat under that pan, so I'm just going to take a piece of this and just pop that under there. We may need to top it up with some smaller bits of wood just to keep the fire going, but we'll come to that. If we need to top it up, we just stick a little bit of just over kindling size wood would be good to just keep a flame on the go. So pan nice and hot, and the first thing we want to do is just go in with some oil. So a good 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil in there. And then once that oil's nice and hot, I've got a cinnamon stick and 3 cardamom pods that I've just bashed slightly just to open them up, just to release those flavours. So in they go, just for a minute or so to start releasing those aromas, start releasing those flavours. Now we want to start building the base. 1 large onion, maybe 2 small onions in here. So straight away into that hot oil. You'll start to hear it sizzle straight away. And we're just going to cook those down now for about 6 or 7 minutes till they're nice and soft. So the onions have been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes now. They're nice and soft, they smell great with those spices in there. We've got a good bit of fire underneath. So now we're going to start building the rest of the dish. I've got about 2 or 3 garlic cloves here and a similar size amount of ginger. So that goes in now, and we're just going to cook that for about another minute or so. And straight away the smell hits you, oh. Now we want to start getting those spices in to really start ramping up the flavour. So I've got chili powder here. This is Kashmiri chili powder, adds a lovely colour. There's not too much heat, so I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder. So in that goes. And then I've got some garam masala here as well. About a tablespoon of that. Just really start ramping up the flavours. Next, a bit more colour in there as well. Gonna go in with about a teaspoon or so of turmeric, about a teaspoon or so of paprika, so in that goes, and a couple of teaspoons of coriander in there as well. And just keep an eye on it. You don't want your spices to burn, so just keep stirring it. Obviously, we want to season it with some salt and pepper. So I've got about a teaspoon of salt, about half a teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm going to grind in there quickly. And just half a teaspoon of fenugreek in there as well. This is really strong, so just go careful with this stuff. And that's it on our spices. So now we're in with the moisture, chopped tomatoes. We're going to go in with 2 tins of the tomatoes, so in they go. And we just want to cook that down for a bit, mix it in with all those spices, and just start to simmer that down. Almost forgot, we want a bit of tomato puree in there as well, so just pop a couple of tablespoons of the tomato puree in there. And we're just going to cook that now for 3 or 4 minutes, just to cook out some of the bitterness of the tomatoes, and then the chicken's going to go in, and then it's just going to simmer away for around about 10-15 minutes until the chicken's finished off. Then we're just going to finish it off with a squeeze of lemon, taste it for balance, garnish it with a bit of coriander, and that is it. Then we're going to serve it up with some rice. It's going to be delicious. So let's crack on and cook the rest of the dish. And there we go, there's my fire-cooked chicken tikka madras. This looks immense. All we've got to do now is garnish it with a little bit of coriander, serve it up with some basmati rice, which we've got here, and we've even done the poppadoms on the coals, as you saw there. So the chicken tikka madras, all cooked over fire, on the braai, from the Braaiman, and we're going to wash it down with a cheeky beverage, of course, on the smoking elk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.